lives are what's at stake with this nomination.
Judge Amy Barrett.
They're framing you as a real threat to health care coverage. This is all a charade.
Judge Barrett is going to be confirmed by this committee and by the full Senate.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome in. It is News and Views. It is the day before the president's visit. Looking forward to that. We'll get to Amy Coney Barrett. Only Hunter Biden could outdo Amy Coney Barrett's hearing by taking the headlines away from her, which he probably appreciates, Hunter. That's the first noble thing you've probably ever done in your life, is you actually got the attention off of Amy Coney Barrett. Not that she's been handling herself with great grace, but the embarrassment that the Democrats have tried to thrust upon her is mind-boggling. And fortunately, all that embarrassment is upon you and your dad today. First, though, the Trump rally, it is tomorrow. Donald Trump coming to Greenville, Pitt Greenville Airport. The rally is scheduled to get underway at 1 o'clock. If you look at his schedule, it's pretty full, so I don't think he's going to be late. Here's the deal, though. Listen carefully. If you show up at the airport, they're going to turn you away, even if you've got tickets. What you've got to do is drive out to the Pitt County Fairgrounds. They're going to have free shuttle buses that will run back and forth from the fairgrounds to the airport between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Now, supposedly the gates at the airport won't open to 10 a.m. So I'm assuming they're going to just drop you off and you'll be standing at the gate. So if you want to be first in line, if you want to be closest to the stage, if you want to be standing behind the president and get on camera, then get there early. But you will be waiting outside the gate at the airport, which is going to be to the north of the terminal. So if you're facing the terminal, that will be on your right-hand side. So they will shuttle you over there at 8 a.m. Now you can get, again, if you want to be the first in line, they're opening the fairground parking at 6 a.m. So again, the Pitt County Fairgrounds is where you need to park. You can pull up as early as 6 a.m. The shuttle buses will start running from 8 a.m. and they'll run throughout the day all the way to 6 p.m. Again, if you think you're going to show up early at the airport, you're going to be turned away. So take my word for it. You can't get in. You can't park at the airport. You can't park on Memorial Drive outside of the airport. There's all kinds of no parking signs up there as we speak. So unless you want to walk to the airport from somewhere else, I mean, if you know someone that lives in the area and you want to park in their driveway and walk over, that's up to you. But it's probably going to be a long walk. Your best bet is to get over to the fairgrounds early enough, and they will shuttle you over there. Numbers expected? I mean, this is my guess. I think there will be a minimum of 5,000. My hunch is it'll probably be somewhere around 10,000. It'll be a crowd. And again, as it happened 4 years ago, it's happening again this time. Cousin Eddie has nobody showing up. In fact, he's making... I know, Joe, you're making Hillary look good.
What are we talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that nobody's showing up to your events, and nobody's showing up to Kamala events either. But that's the schedule. That's the schedule. In the news, Melania Trump, the First Lady, says her 14-year-old son, Barron, did test positive for the coronavirus, asymptomatic, as most young people, asymptomatic. That kid is tall. Have you seen? I think he's taller than his dad.
He's right there.
14 years old. The White House initially said he tested negative, then both his parents tested positive, and then he was tested again, and he did test positive. So he had COVID-19, however, asymptomatic. He's doing fine. The Republican and Democrat gubernatorial candidates will debate tonight, Roy Cooper versus Dan Forrest. You can hear the debate right here on 96.3 and 103.7 beginning at 7 o'clock. The debate is hosted by the state's Association of Broadcasters. Cooper is all criticized Forrest because he refuses to wear a face mask at political rallies, and Forrest attacks Cooper because Cooper refuses to open up the state, continuing to drag his feet, continuing to say that, 3,500 people are allowed to go to the football game this Saturday in Greenville. And again, as we reported on earlier, the World Health Organization came out early this week and said, you know what, we got it wrong. The World Health Organization said, nah, lockdowns weren't a good idea. I mean, they're saying as a last resort, you might want to social distance, and if it really got bad, lockdown. But they're saying it wasn't worth the fallout that came with the lockdown. It wasn't worth the poor getting poorer, the depressed getting more depressed. Barron is 6'3".
He's 6'3". His dad is 6'1". Amazing.
Donald looks taller than 6'1".
Oh, is he?
He looks taller than 6'1". I don't know.
Okay, I thought he was 6'1".
But 6'3". Wow, 14 years old. He's going to be a tall kid. He's still growing. Anyway, so stay tuned for the debate tonight, 7 o'clock right here. Joe Biden and Donald Trump now will have this is funny because originally they were going to have the debate tomorrow night. Then when Donald said he would not debate virtually, Joe said, okay, I'm going to be on ABC then. Well, now NBC has come out and said that they're going to host a town hall tomorrow night. You can watch that on WITN at 8 o'clock. And it will basically be at the same time that Joe Biden has his debate on ABC. I'm going to make a prediction right now that Trump's numbers in terms of viewers will beat out Biden's numbers. And frankly, the only numbers that Biden will have, now there'll be people switching back and forth, and I'm not saying that this is necessarily the poll of who's going to win the presidency, but I would say that Joe Biden, his viewers are going to be looking, they're going to be tuning in to hope, it's like they want to see a train wreck. It's like those people that go to a hockey game, not to see hockey, but to see the fights. And I think the viewers that tune in to ABC to see Joe Biden, they're looking, anxiously waiting to see how bad Cousin Eddie puts both feet in his mouth. The big story out today, though, is the Hunter Biden story. Came out early this morning. And, of course, you've probably heard about it, but if you haven't, real quickly, a recap. Hunter Biden, who was on the board of that gas company over in the Ukraine, and, of course, Joe came out and said, I never knew anything about it. I found out about the same time y'all did. It wasn't until well after the situation where I told the Ukrainian government, if you didn't fire the prosecutor that was going after the owner of this gas company, Burisma, you weren't going to get $1 billion loan from, or it was a loan or grant from the United States. And, then he bragged about it when the loan didn't go through, or it wasn't going to go through, and then they did fire the prosecutor. He said, SOB, how about that? They fired him. And he was bragging about it. Look how much power I've got. And, of course, then there was some pushback on that. Okay, well, was Hunter Biden hired by Burisma strictly to push away this prosecutor to allow the vice president of the United States to put some pressure on the country? The new government came in. The new government was investigating this gas company and all the hanky-panky that was going on there. And Hunter was suddenly hired, and the next thing you know, then the pressure comes on the government. You want the $1 billion, then fire this guy, and it happened. And, of course, Joe has been saying ever since then, ever since it hit the news, it was old news that he threatened the Ukrainian government and said, you got to fire this guy, and they fired him. That was old news. It became new news after he decided to run for the presidency. And what's really interesting about this, it really became hot news when they began to accuse Donald Trump of going after Joe Biden when he had talks with the new president of the Ukraine. And so then the Democrats went after that. Well, what happened is it sort of blew up in their face, because then the story of Joe Biden forcing the Ukrainian government to fire this prosecutor, that then became the hot news. And then at that point, Joe said, no, I never knew that Hunter was even on the board. I had nothing to do with his business dealings. I was totally unaware until well after that episode. Well, Hunter Biden is an idiot. Let's establish that first. He takes his laptop, an iPad. What's the Apple book? I guess it was.
It's an iPad.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Close enough.
And so he takes it. It got wet, so he took it to this repair shop and asked them to see if they could fix it. The only reason, and the repair shop thinks it was Hunter Biden. One of the reasons they think that is because apparently it had a sticker on there for the Beau Biden Foundation, Hunter's brother. If you remember Beau, he died of cancer. And remember Hunter, after Beau, his brother, died, he then started an affair with his brother's wife. I mean, this guy is just low. Oh, my. Yeah. So then he takes it to this repair shop, see if they could fix it. Never picks it back up. So at that point, and the owner said he tried to get a hold of the owner of the iPad, whoever the number they gave, kept calling. Nobody came to pick it up. You would think this moron, I mean, I'm surprised he even took it in to be repaired. So the owner makes a copy of the hard drive. Then he calls the FBI and hands the computer over to the FBI. And why he made a copy of the hard drive, not sure. But with the FBI's recent history of playing politics, it was probably a really good idea that he made this backup copy. Eventually, he got the backup copy to Rudy Giuliani's attorney. On the hard drive are all kinds of emails, documents, indicating that Joe Biden was very much involved with Hunter Biden and Burisma and knew everything from the get-go. It also establishes a timeline that all this happened, that is the hiring of Hunter Biden to the board at $50,000 a month. All this happened, and then Joe Biden comes in and threatens the Ukrainian government, if you don't fire this prosecutor that's going after the owner of Burisma, then you're not going to get the $1 billion. The other interesting thing, and most of the news outlets today are focusing on that, which obviously that's the incriminating story in terms of the legality and the blatant lies that Joe Biden has been peddling. But somehow or another, with the help of the mainstream media, Joe Biden has managed to set up this scenario that Uncle Joe is this kindly gentleman that would never hurt a fly.
Who am I?
And it is a total falsehood. And one of the reasons I say that is, there are a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons is, isn't it interesting how the mainstream media continues to go after the Trump family? How evil Donald Trump is, how he is just the worst character on the face of the earth. And yet his kids, I'm not saying they're sinless, but his children appear to be really class acts. His daughter-in-law, who we're going to hear from in just a few minutes, Lara Trump, is a class act. I mean, they are classy people. We've had Eric Trump on here. He's a class act. And yet, the mainstream media continues to vilify them as if they, whatever they do is wrong and evil and for nefarious reasons. Hunter Biden gets kicked out of the Navy because he's a drug addict. He has an affair with his brother's wife shortly after his brother dies of cancer. I mean, that's just sick. On this laptop is a 12-minute video of Hunter Biden smoking crack cocaine and having a sexual relationship with some unidentified woman.
Well, isn't that special?
It wasn't you, though, lady. It wasn't the church lady. But there's all kinds of other pornographic images on the laptop as well. I mean, the acorns don't fall too far from the tree. Joe Biden is constantly trying, and with the help of the mainstream media, is somewhat successful. The reason why people say, well, I'm going to vote for Joe because I think he's a nice guy. I don't like Donald Trump because he's not nice. He has these tweets that I don't like. Look, I mean, the evidence, I realize there can be great parents that have rotten kids, and there can be rotten parents that have good kids. But those are the exceptions to the rule. That's not the general rule. The general rule is the acorns don't fall too far from the tree. The Hunter Biden acorn, wow, it fell with a thud. Interestingly, the Joe Biden campaign came out today. This is their explanation. They said, we went back and looked at Joe Biden's official schedule. And in 2015, there was no official engagements with anybody related to the Burisma board or Vadim Poharsky. So that's their excuse. Well, we looked at his calendar, and he didn't have anything official in there. Oh, that's a good excuse. The story gets worse. Facebook has basically kicked off any stories related to this today. Josh Hawley has demanded answers from Facebook about why it censored the Post story. All the story was broken by the New York Post and the Hunter Biden laptop. That if you tried to post this on, it got kicked off. And the Missouri Republican sent off a letter to Mark Zuckerberg questioning why he did this. And of course, it's typical. Oh, we're trying to be very sensitive. We want to make sure it's the truth. We're fact checking it. What a load of you know what. I mean, you could make up a story that Donald Trump has entered into a gay relationship with a goat, and Facebook would they would probably send additional viewers to go see it. I guarantee you they wouldn't take it down. But yet this story, and there's all kinds of evidence. I mean, it's not like it's out of thin air. It's not just rumor. The evidence is there. Facebook bumps it off. If there's ever been a more blatant story, now, I mean, we all knew this was happening. We all know this idea that we're fact-checking you, and we want to make sure that it's an accurate news. We want our people to get accurate news. What a load. Unbelievable. We've got to take a time out. Lots more to talk about, including our interview with Lara Trump. That's coming up right after this.
You know it's easy. Buying a Toyota with Massey Toyota's Easy Pass. You can save time when you start your deal online from the comfort of your own home or office. There's no runaround, just great prices and great service. When you shop online at Massey Toyota, you get our best prices. Plus, you can value your trade and get pre-approved quickly and easily. We'll even deliver your Toyota right to your door. Small town, big savings since 1938. Massey Toyota in Kinston.
There's a big difference between those running for Beaufort County Commissioner under the Republican label this year. Tandy Dunn believes that a Republican majority should elect Republicans as commission officers. John Rebholz, on the other hand, voted for a coalition with liberal Democrats to exclude conservatives from leadership and to give one of the top offices to liberal Democrat Jerry Langley. Tandy Dunn supports gun rights, while John Rebholz has voted against concealed carry for trained and vetted permit holders. Tandy Dunn opposes an expensive and unnecessary new jail, which would raise our taxes, while John Rebholz voted to stack a study committee with interest groups likely to support a new jail. Let's elect Tandy Dunn, County Commissioner. He's one of us.
I'm Tandy Dunn. I approve this message because I will govern as a real Republican, and I will not sell you out to liberal Democrat Jerry Langley.
Paid for by the committee to elect Tandy Dunn.
If you struggle using CPAP, it can leave you feeling tired. forgetful.
Who put this banana in the toaster?
You did?
Cool, okay, just checking.
And even impact your health. Fortunately, now there's Inspire, a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
For more than 85 years, families in and surrounding Pitt County have trusted Wilkerson Funeral Home and the Wilkerson family to serve them when they have experienced the loss of a loved one.
With the addition of Farmer Funeral Service in Ayden, we now have 3 traditional funeral homes, each with their own chapel, serving all faiths. We also recently introduced Winterville Cremation and Funeral Services, a new concept created to better serve families seeking a simpler and less costly funeral.
From the combination of our successful pre-need program, our multi-garden cemetery featuring traditional burial, mausoleums, niches, and a new open-air chapel, the Wilkerson family continues to be innovative and the trusted choice in funeral care. Let us introduce you to the growing Wilkerson family of companies. Chances are we may have already touched your family. If so, we thank you. If not, you can count on and trust us to serve your family with the same dignified and compassionate care that we have been known for since 1932.
To learn more, visit wilkersonfuneralhome.com.
From page 1 of this story,
every American who wants a vaccine.
Defeat the virus once and for all.
To the final chapter of this story.
This is the most important election.
All the stories that matter to your story.
Serving on the Supreme Court.
Strengthen the economy.
Hatred, bigotry, and violence. The information they need.
Your world, your stories.
More chapters to be told.
Heard every day.
Every single day.
Let your voice be heard this November. Register to vote now at vote.gov. From Talk 96.3 at 103.7. Here's Tom Lamprecht with more news and views.
Welcome back. And on this day, October the 14th, 108 years ago, 1912, Teddy Roosevelt was shot in the chest in Milwaukee while campaigning for the presidency. Fortunately, the speech in his breast pocket absorbed most of the bullet's impact. He went ahead and gave the speech. Went to the hospital after that. Wow. Tomorrow for the president's visit here in Greenville, perfect. Sunny with a high near 79. Slight chance of rain late tomorrow night. Friday in the morning, a slight chance of rain. The later in the day precip chance goes up to 70%. Then on Saturday, cools down. Sunny, a high near 63. Saturday night, chilly, a high of, or low rather, of 43. Sunday, sunny with a high near 72. So overall, with the exception of late Friday, it's going to be a gorgeous day, a perfect day for the president. Again, if you weren't with us at the beginning of the program, for the president's visit tomorrow, you need to go park at the Pitt County Fairgrounds. There will be free shuttle buses from the fairgrounds to the airport gates. Parking at the fairground opens at 6 a.m. The shuttle buses run to and from the airport from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The gates at the airport will open at 10 a.m. So if you want to be first in line so you can be right next to the stage or be standing behind the president, you need to be at the fairgrounds. That'll open up at 6. They'll take you over, then you'll be standing at the gate till 10 a.m. when they'll let you in. And then the event gets underway at 1 p.m. And there will be thousands of people there. How many thousands? Don't know. But we are looking forward to it. And Clark and I are trying to figure out exactly what time we need to get over there. So maybe we'll see you there. Well, we'll take the WTIB 96.3 bus over.
Doesn't quite sound like that.
Earlier today, had a chance to talk to Lara Trump and talked about the events going on in her life, as well as the big event tomorrow. She was up in Boiling Springs earlier this afternoon. She's actually, as we speak, she's on her way down to Wilmington for another event, which begins shortly. Here is our interview from earlier today. With us on the line right now is the daughter-in-law of the president, the mom of Eric and Carolina, and the wife of Eric, Lara Trump. Lara, good to have you back with us.
Thank you. Well, my son actually goes by Luke, but technically, you're right. His first name is Eric. It gets very confusing. Eric's all over the place around our house, but thank you for having me back.
Yeah. By the way, happy birthday. What did Eric, Luke, and Carolina get for you?
You know what? We're going to do a big celebration after November 3rd.
I hear you.
But I was very lucky. My parents were up helping with the kids last week, so we all got to celebrate this weekend. So my present was just being with everybody. It was fantastic.
Well, you were in Boiling Springs, Pennsylvania earlier today, and you're getting ready to have a rally tonight in Wilmington, right?
That's correct. In my hometown, I'm excited to be headed back there. Always love a good excuse to get home to North Carolina. And, look, we're traveling the country. Obviously, we are 20 days out from the most consequential election in American history by many respects. And so we are leaving nothing on the table. We're working hard every day, and we're going to do that for the next 20 days.
Well, the big event here in eastern North Carolina is the big Trump rally, which will take place at the Pitt Greenville Airport. It happens tomorrow. The event gets underway at 1 o'clock, and I do want to remind the folks that the gates at the airport will open at 10. Parking, and we've mentioned this earlier, but parking is going to take place at the Pitt County Fairgrounds. The Trump campaign will be shuffling people back and forth with buses. Don't show up and try to park at the airport because it's going to be way overcrowded. Go park at the fairgrounds, and we will make sure you get over there on one of the shuttle buses. But Lara, tell us about what's on the schedule for tomorrow besides the president. Obviously, he's going to be the featured guest and speaker, but what else will be happening?
Well, look, we always have some North Carolina natives there, some local officials you'll hear from. But I think that what people are excited about, they're excited to see the president. I mean, he has now come through COVID. He is 100% healthy, feeling great. And I really do think the closer we get to this election, people are starting to realize how critical it is. I'm sure we'll hear some one-liners from the president. He always loves to do that. And look, he knows how important a state North Carolina is. In 2016, Hillary Clinton said that North Carolina was her firewall. She was going to win that state. My father-in-law turned to me and said, would you help me win your home state of North Carolina? And that's exactly what we did. And you'll see us there every single week leading up to the election. We're going to have Trumps all over the place there. And it's because it's so important, because we are working hard for every vote, and we intend to win North Carolina again.
Well, this truly is a family affair. I mean, you, your husband, your brother-in-law, your sister-in-laws, your father-in-law, the first lady, everybody is out there on the trail every day. I mean, it boggles my mind to see how many events the president has lined up.
Yeah, but this is indicative of his work ethic. I mean, people in 2016 who were a third the president's age on our campaign, I remember they at the end of the day would be absolutely exhausted. And the president would say, do you think we could head west and do one more event, go to one more rally, talk to a few more people, because this is just the man that he is. It's boundless energy. But you're right, it's a family affair. And, we all know what is at stake right now. We all know how much this president truly has sacrificed, and people don't talk about that a lot. Donald Trump had an incredible life before he became president of the United States, and now every day he has to, fight back against all of the 92% negative media coverage against him, the Democrats trying to impeach him, trying to bring him down with Russia collusion hoax, this, that, and the other, and he is still delivering for the American people. He took this job not because he needed it, but because he knew he was the right person to get the job done for the American people. And so, look, we know how critical this is. In 2016, I got to campaign all over the country, and I didn't have kids. And now I have two, as you just mentioned, Luke and Carolina. And to me, nothing is more important than making sure this country works for our future generations, and that's why we're out here fighting every single day.
Exactly. I'm closer to your dad's age, and I can empathize with what you just said. I've had a good life, but I look at my children and my grandchildren, and I say to myself, it's not fair that they would inherit a Joe Biden socialist administration when I want them to be living in liberty and freedom. And this is an important election. Let me ask you this. The big news out today is this story about Hunter Biden's computer And the fact that he left it at a repair shop, and the overwhelming evidence now with these emails that Joe Biden has been lying all along with his knowledge of his son's involvement in this gas company over in Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, what a disgusting move this is. And not that it should surprise anyone that Joe Biden has been lying. He lied the entire first debate against the president. I see their ads run all the time, lying about the president taking away Social Security, lying about the president not protecting pre-existing conditions. It's lie after lie when it comes to Joe Biden. But the reality is, you may not hear as much about this as you otherwise would if the name Trump was on the end of this, because the mainstream media continues to cover up for the Bidens. They continue to cover up for Democrat candidates because they are obsessed with controlling Americans every single day, which is what you're talking about, pushing socialism. This is a really scary prospect. I hope it gets the play that it deserves. I know that on Facebook they're saying that they still need more fact-checking in order to leave it up, which is absolutely ridiculous. But what a reckless situation to have Hunter Biden, leave a computer like this around and all this information come out. But I guess good thing it did. If you could imagine if the shoe was on the other foot, the kind of front page headline news that this would be. But we know it's a double standard. We have to work even harder, but that's what we'll continue to do until we win this thing.
What is the inside scoop within the family as it relates to Amy Coney Barrett's hearing? I saw the president was quite upset with Cory Booker and his line of questioning yesterday, but my goodness, his choice of Amy Coney Barrett, she has just hit it out of the park.
Well, what an impressive woman she is. And, to be there with her children behind her and to have some of these questions asked of her, questions asked by Mazie Hirono from Hawaii, questions asked by Kamala Harris. It's really outrageous, some of the things they asked this woman. She conducted herself with class, with grace. She is obviously smart as they come, doesn't need any notes. She showed us she's got nothing written down on her notebook there. It's just a blank white piece of paper.
Yeah, all from memory.
She's very impressive. She's a perfect candidate. The Democrats better watch it because they're starting to show who they really are to the American people. And there's no low too low to try and attack a woman like this in front of her children sitting behind her and her siblings sitting on the other side. Absolutely crazy.
How do you react when people tell you about the polls and act as if you ought to be worried when you see who is showing up at these events? Now, the event in Greenville tomorrow, I imagine it's going to be somewhere, if it was not more than 5,000, I'd be shocked. It's probably going to be somewhere closer to 10,000. But then you look at these events that the Vice President Joe Biden is putting together. Out in Arizona, there was nobody that showed up. He was in Ohio yesterday talking to a couple of pickup trucks and didn't see anybody there.
Oh, how embarrassing for the Biden campaign. And you know what we say in North Carolina? We say, bless his heart. I feel sorry for this guy sometimes. But look, you're right. The reality is when you're out on the ground like we are every single day, you get a true sense of what's going on in America. And I'll tell you, we saw this exact same play in 2016. They said all the polling showed that there was no hope for Donald Trump to win, no path to victory. And what we saw out there was not accurately reflected in the polls, and we know who won the 2016 election. It was Donald Trump. Now they're doing the same thing. They're trying to discourage people from getting out and voting for President Donald Trump. They're trying to make you say, forget it, it's not worth going out to vote. Absolutely it is. This thing is in the bag if everybody gets out and votes for President Donald Trump, and make sure your friends and family do the same thing. The polls are absolutely meaningless. They're total garbage.
Yeah, we cannot take that for granted, and I thank you for that encouragement. At the same time, there was a piece out by David Chapman yesterday talking about the historical high watermarks that the president has achieved, and one of those was the enthusiasm of the voters, and he set a high watermark in the primary for votes, total votes, and percentage of votes. I think it was like 96%, which is the highest it's ever been for any president president, and a president that achieves that kind of primary percentage has never lost. So I don't want to say that it's in the bag, but at the same time, there is some historical encouragement there that we can see as we look over past elections all the way back into the 1800s.
And don't forget that Joe Biden was coming in third and fourth place in some of those primaries before the Democrat Party pulled all of the candidates out and said, let's all join up behind Joe. Don't forget, he was not looking too hot in some of those primaries either.
Right, exactly. Are you going to be able to be with the president tomorrow, or do you have a schedule elsewhere?
You know, I wish I was able to be there. None of us campaign together in the Trump family. I don't even know where my husband is today, truth be told, because we're all spread out all over the country. Look, the reality is you got the big guy there. I'll be in Wilmington today. You got the man himself, my father-in-law, the president, coming tomorrow to Greenville. I'll be in Michigan tomorrow. So we're nonstop for the next 20 days, and I will certainly miss it, but I know that I have a lot of friends and family that are going to turn out. So I'll be there in spirit.
Well, Lara, thanks for spending a few minutes with us today, and keep it up. And we're keeping it up as much as we can on our end, but we look forward to having the president with us tomorrow, and we look forward to a victory on November the 3rd.
You got it. Thanks so much.
Okay. Thanks, Lara. I guess when your father is the president of the United States, your father-in-law is the president of the United States, you can call him the big guy. Lara Trump from earlier today. We got to take a timeout. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
GoEco is the office equipment company that people all over eastern North Carolina are turning to for their office copier and equipment needs. GoEco sells and services Canon copiers and office products. They have a great service team that's quick to respond when you need them. We here at Interbanks Media just made the switch to GoEco, and they're saving us money in printing costs. Other businesses in and around Greenville are making the switch too. Dirk's Chiropractic switched over a year ago and saved money. GoEco bought out their existing lease, and Dirk's Chiropractic received better products fitting their needs. In fact, GoEco has saved local clients who have switched over $178,000. Oh, and some businesses might qualify for no payments until 2021. Call Area Sales Director Tom Watkins at GoEco for a free consultation today. 252-227-0581 or email info@goeconc.com. Save money by switching to GoEco.
Raleigh politicians put big cities first and rural communities last. But Chris Humphrey is one of us. Humphrey helped balance North Carolina's budget so we can combat crises like COVID. Humphrey fought to raise teacher pay and secure millions in COVID relief for small businesses and workers so local families can weather this storm. Chris Humphrey, fighting for us because he's one of us. Humphrey for State House.
I'm Chris Humphrey, and my campaign paid for this ad.
Humana is proud to serve veterans. If you have recently turned 65 or become Medicare eligible, they will be proud to help you with your Medicare decisions or any questions that may arise. Let an agent assist you now to determine which Humana Medicare plan may best serve you. Humana is the national Medicare Advantage plan provider to the veterans of foreign wars. Call Marquita Sawyer at 252-264-0143, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday to talk with a licensed sales agent today. That's 252-264-0143.
The rioting, attacking police officers, and burning down buildings caused by the radical left in this country is out of control. They pretend to fight for justice, but instead, they are communist revolutionaries who are taking advantage of a situation to further their radical agenda. They want absolute lawlessness and chaos. While G.K. Butterfield and his boss Nancy Pelosi enable the lawlessness, Sandy Smith is fighting back. Sandy supports our police officers and understands we need them to defend our communities. And she understands that we need the right to keep and bear arms so we can defend ourselves.
I'm Sandy Smith, candidate for Congress, and I proudly approve this message. I ask for your vote because I support safe communities, law and order, and our police. I will protect your guns and your right to use them. Paid for by Sandy Smith for Congress. SandySmithNC.com.
News and Views.
He's kind of a diva. He's absolutely fascinating.
Ultimate gentleman spy. Irresistible to women, deadly to his enemies, a legend in his own time.
You won't believe what he's going to say next on Talk 96.3 and 103.7. Here's Tom Lamprecht.
Welcome back in. It is News and Views, and it looks like the Amy Coney Barrett hearings, day 3, are drawing to a close, which I think this is the last day of questioning. So it's over. Looks like she's going to survive.
Good for her, too.
It wasn't easy. The Dems made their true selves very evident. Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, I love that guy. He is hilarious, and he really sort of ended his questioning just a few minutes ago by sort of mocking the Democrats, asking, are you a racist? Do you favor corporations over working people? Are you against clean air? Are you against clean water? Do you support science? Do you support children and prosperity? Do you hate warm puppies? He was basically mocking the questioning of the Democrats. It was interesting. Before the hearings even started, there was a Morning Consult Politico poll that was released yesterday, but the poll was taken before the hearings even began. It found out that 48% of respondents favor Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation. 31% opposed it. That's up 11 points from September the 26th. So as the debate about having the hearing and going forward with the hearing, as that continued up to the day of the hearing, the polling was going in Amy Coney Barrett's favor. Now that the hearing is basically over, the public hearing, the public flogging of Barrett is over by the Democrats, it'll be interesting. My hunch is that her numbers will go up. I mean, the evil line of questioning and the gotcha questions. I mean, for Cory Booker to ask if does she denounce white supremacy? She's got 2 black kids. But the worst was this Mazi Hirano from Hawaii. She is the worst. I mean, she's right up there with Kamala Harris and Cory Booker. So yesterday, she asks Judge Barrett, since you became a legal adult, have you made any unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any physical or verbal harassment or assault of any sexual nature? No, Senator, I have not. Have you faced discipline or entered into a settlement related to this kind of conduct? No. Then today, when she's following up on the questions, they jump all over Judge Amy Coney Barrett because she said that she would not discriminate based on sexual preference. Well, apparently the term sexual preference is an offensive term to the LGBTQ community because they don't believe in gender preference or identity. I mean, you're whatever you want to be. So on one hand, if you have discriminate on sexual preference and you believe that there is a sexual preference possibility, it's good that you don't do that. But on the other hand, the term sexual preference is offensive because the LGBT community, they don't want to identify. They're whatever they think they are at the time. I mean, the inmates have taken over the asylum. So now they're all over Judge Barrett that she has insulted the LGBT community because she used the term, she said the statement, I would not discriminate via sexual preference. And this Hirano and then Cory Booker doubled down on it, talking about how offensive it was that she would say such a thing. I understand. I think Judge Barrett has done an unbelievable job. We're watching it as it ended last night. I think it was about 8 o'clock at night. The poor woman was up there for 11 hours, having to hear these idiots talk. And they're just up there bloviating the whole time. And she had to do it again today. So I'm not knocking her. So the woman is exhausted. I mean, you could just read it on her face last night, and she had to do it again today. But she apologized, and she apologized in such a way that she said, you know, I certainly did not mean, and I would never mean to use a term that would cause any offense to the LGBT community. So if I did, I greatly apologize for that. So it was a guarded apology. But, I mean, it's asinine that she has to apologize because, and by the way, Webster apparently added a new definition within the last 30 days to the term sexual preference because the LGBT community now finds it offensive. I mean, it is asinine that we have to play these stupid games. And I really am looking forward to what Donald Trump has to say about this. Maybe he'll address this tomorrow when he's in Greenville. But these horses' rear ends up there on the Democratic side of the Judiciary Committee make total rear ends of themselves, and which is fitting because they are. And yet, I think it's helping Donald Trump. I mean, the good news is I think this is actually helping the conservative cause because it's a revelation of exactly who they are. We got to take a time out. We'll be right back.
Temperatures are in the low 30s at 10 a.m., increasing sharply to 75 degrees by 1 p.m., and then dropping into the teens by 10 p.m. So before you go to work, put on some gloves, pack some shorts, and a parka. That should cover you for the day.
Your heating and cooling is taking a beating. Guarantee your family's comfort all fall and winter with a new Train system. It's hard to stop a train. For a limited time, get a new Train system with 0% financing for 60 months. Go to DelcorInc.com for more information. Delcor, the service professionals. See your independent Train dealer for details. Call 1-888-534-6898 for details.
Ever heard that knowledge is power? It's true. Knowledge is power. But the thing is, you can't turn on that power without a power source. That source is access. Access to educational opportunities that many of us didn't have as kids, but that our children should have. Access to education that our kids actually want to show up for. Access to teachers who are invested in preparing high schoolers for college. The Northeast Regional School of Biotechnology and Agri-Science in Jamesville is a unique early college high school program that gives our children the chance to be first-generation college students.
If you have a rising ninth grader in Martin, Pitt, Terrell, or Washington counties, apply at neregionalschool.org. Priority is given to students whose parents did not attend college, but any rising ninth graders are eligible. Visit neregionalschool.org today.
The Northeast Regional School of Biotechnology and Agri-Science, rooted in leadership, ready for tomorrow.
2020 certainly hasn't been the year many of us were hoping for, but one thing has stayed the same. Greenville Auto World's commitment to customers has never wavered. Let Greenville Auto World show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Greenville. We believe fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right leads to satisfied repeat customers. Your vehicle's a big investment, and our customers trust us to keep them up and running with outstanding service and value. Greenville Auto World, 3840 South Charles Boulevard, across from Hardee's at Bell's Fork.
The news is shocking.
Woman involved in the scandal with Democratic Senate candidate Cal Cunningham now saying they were intimate together at his home right here in North Carolina.
Cal Cunningham engulfed in scandal. Reports of multiple extramarital affairs, one with the wife of a veteran. Cunningham admitted to sexual texts, but there's more. The Associated Press found, quote, the relationship extended beyond suggestive texts, as was previously reported, to an intimate encounter as recent as July. Now the Army Reserve confirms it's opened an investigation into Cunningham's conduct. The Charlotte Observer said it shows, quote, a concerning lack of judgment on Cunningham's part, and, quote, an arrogance and self-centeredness that we've seen too much of in Washington. Cal Cunningham lies, a lot, and we don't need any more of that in Washington. What else is Cal Cunningham hiding? Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
He's washed his hands so many times he can now see the answers to his tests from high school.
Those aren't the right answers.
And you never know what to expect with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome back. 561-8255. We've got Lester on the line from Havelock. Hey, Lester.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Good to hear from you. What's up?
Okay, I know you got to be quick here. Listen, two things. First thing is I was shocked to see Wolf Blitzer give it to Pelosi on YouTube last night.
That was a surprise.
That was fun to watch. The second thing is I've got a really good friend. His parents' home in Carteret County, he has Trump signs in his yard, and he got two really, really brutal, nasty letters. I don't want to read them over the air, of course, but I'd be happy to email them to you. You guys can reference it and see what you guys want to do with it.
Okay. Hang on the line, and Clark will give you an email address you can send those to. We'll take a look at them, and if we can not lose our license and read them, maybe we will. Appreciate it. Thanks, Lester. Appreciate the call. All right, again, tomorrow, the Donald Trump campaign rally, Make America Great Again rally. It will get underway at the Pitt Greenville Airport at 1 o'clock. And again, if you want to go to it, you need to park over at the Pitt County Fairgrounds. The fairgrounds parking will open at 6 a.m. The shuttle buses will run back and forth from the fairgrounds to the airport from 8 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night. The gates at the airport will open at 10 a.m. So don't even attempt to park at the airport. If you go over there, you're going to be turned away. Go over to the Pitt County Fairgrounds, and again, you can get in at 6 a.m., hop on a shuttle bus. You're going to be a lot of standing in line. If you want to be the first ones there to get on camera standing behind the president, just remember you need to be at the fairgrounds at 6 o'clock. There'll probably be cars lined up before you get there, even if you got there at 6. And you'll be waiting for the shuttle buses to start running. They'll run from 8 o'clock, and again, they'll run all day to 6 p.m. And then you can go stand in line at the airport, at the gate at the airport, because those gates don't open until 10 a.m. So, big day tomorrow. It's perfect weather for it. You don't have to worry about taking an umbrella. It'll be a high of somewhere around 79 degrees, lots of sunshine, so take some suntan lotion, and we'll see you at the airport with Donald Trump. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you then, and we'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Bye-bye, everybody.
Our local police matter.